rolling live. And I'm going to take...
Fucking do it live! Yeah. That literally sounded like a fucking sword.
We're going to war.
Shing! And welcome back to another episode of Fehr the Burn Podcast,
Welcome,
FTB, a.k.a. Fuck That Bitch Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Heartthrob Chandler.
And my name is the Heartbreak Kid, Cougar Coburn.
And we are joined today with a very special guest. His name, you would know it if you watched this podcast before, but it's the first time you're seeing him. I don't know if you can hear Cougar's drum roll, and he's going to keep doing it, but you know what? It's fuck you, David.
It's David.
David, fuck you. That's the first thing I got to say.
Fuck you too, man.
Yeah. It was a good drum roll. I'm glad that you're here, Dave. The last time that we saw you.
Welcome back.
You were, I don't know if we said it on the pod, but I believe that we discussed that you were on the way to Utah Shakespeare Festival.
That was a while ago.
How was that?
It was terrible.
Oh. Oh, it was terrible. David didn't enjoy his time there at all.
Well, it was fine. The people were great. COVID made that place a nightmare, and communication is not their specialty.
And they made you get vaccinated.
They did make me get vaccinated. They told me I got to get shot up. You know the funny part about that, though? What the person who was the safest the entire summer, like the person that when we showed up, it was like, if we want to go on hikes together, we can only have the people that we live with in our cars, and we all still have to wear masks at all times. Like, that's how safe this lady was about COVID. Like, wouldn't hang out with us. That lady is the only one that got COVID the entire summer we were there. And not only that, but one of my roommate, Blake, started, like, kind of courting her. And so the day before she was, like, diagnosed with COVID, because it was on a Monday, we get tested on Monday, her and Blake were, like, making out, and, like, because they were, like, getting together. And that dude didn't get COVID. So I'm like, how does any of this actually fucking work?
Hell yeah, know. Blake.
But
hell
yeah, point being, there was a lot of weird shit that happened. I was kind of like, I don't like this. It's nonsense.
Damn.
Well, shout out to David's roommate, Blake.
Shout out, Blake.
Shout out to COVID bitch. I'm sorry that you got COVID. I hope that you're still out there.
Great lady.
Great lady. Pretty bitch. Got COVID. Too scared of it. Too scared of it, man. Yeah. Everyone's scared out in this bitch, man. I'll tell you what. I'm also fully vaccinated now. I guess not. David actually informed me that I have to wait 2 weeks after my second shot before I am actually fully vaccinated.
Depending on which one you get. Because I know Moderna, 2 weeks after is when it becomes fully effective. Pfizer, I think, is probably a different time.
It's immediately, son.
No,
because Pfizer's the fucking bomb, dude. We're the vaccine that has the most breakthrough cases. We got the record, son. We're Barry Bonds.
Wait, most breakthrough cases as in, like, most cases of people that got COVID while having the vaccine?
That's what I mean. Yep. That's what I mean.
I mean, at least
we got the record
off the market entirely, right?
Dude, I'll tell you what. I'm just glad that I am vaccinated. Although I did not want to get vaccinated, I just am glad that I belong to this club now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because I would hate to not belong to the club and end up catching COVID and then be taken out of my job, man. And be written articles about and being shit on. You know who we're talking about?
Who are you talking about, Chan?
I'm talking about that bad man who did a bad thing by not getting vaccinated. And that's Aaron motherfucking Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Quarterback.
He was on the Pat McAfee show.
Dude, not only was he on it once, he had like a weekly segment. Him and Pat are good friends. He'd be on there every Tuesday. After wins, losses, he'd always talk about last season. Yeah.
That's cool.
So
but they have a relationship.
Yeah, they're like friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was on there after he got COVID, and he talked about it a little bit, or dropped some video of him talking, like while he was sitting down.
Yep.
Did you watch this?
I think that was taken from that show. Like that was just like that.
It's just
exclusive video. But yeah, he was talking about how he's met with medical experts, and he's done his research, and he has come to the conclusion that he doesn't feel like it's necessary for him right now. And he's like, I think that like health is not a one-size-fits-all, and people need to be able to make their decisions, and I respect someone if they want to do it, but I also will be making a decision like for myself. and you get a lot of flack for saying stuff like that, you know?
Well, yeah, just the verbiage that he used a lot often too, because there was an interview of him where he said that he was immunized
Yes, I said
from
yeah.
COVID. He specifically used the word immunized, and he said, I wouldn't be judging people who weren't vaccinated. I'm not going to be judging players who weren't vaccinated.
Yep.
He said he's immunized. He's definitely immunized now, because that motherfucker got COVID, and they're forcing him to sit out in today's game.
And I've seen some reports about like it being a better vaccine for you, the antibodies that you create, because you actually don't have any antibodies when you get the vaccine because it's mRNA, but when you get the actual COVID virus, your body will create those natural antibodies. And so he like may literally, isn't like, wouldn't that be the case? Like he is almost literally vaccinated after you get it, right. Even not technically. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think it's the same thing as the vaccine. And again, this is some shit where it's like, you can say this science today. First of all, none of us know what's actually true. Right. And secondarily, it's like this shit can all change tomorrow.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
But from what I understand, it's the same as kind of like the vaccine. I'm sure that the actual antibodies are a little stronger, but there has to be some point where they fade out of your body.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But who knows? Because apparently Aaron Rodgers' now friend Joe Rogan, now his good friend Joe Rogan, young Jamie, who's on there, has had these antibodies for like 9 months now, 10 months. Like Joe keeps talking about, he's like, dude, he gets tested all the time. He always has strong ass antibodies.
Yep.
So I just feel like I feel bad for Aaron Rodgers because I feel like it's becoming a star-bellied sneech thing.
Yeah.
Where if he's not vaccinated, because there's literally an article where it was like, Aaron Rodgers not vaccinated. How could the NFL let him play? And I just think if he wasn't so cagey about it from the beginning, it wouldn't have been a big deal.
Right.
Because there's several NFL and NBA players who have like come, and NFL, like they give people more of an option too.
Right.
Like Cole Beasley is this wide receiver for the Bills, and he came out and was like, I'm not going to get the vaccine at all, and here's why, and like gave like a big ass statement. And he was like, I'm not saying people shouldn't get vaccinated. I'm not saying that they should, but if Aaron Rodgers from the beginning was just like, I'm not vaccinated, I don't plan on getting it, here's why, I don't think it would be that big of an issue now.
Oh, right. But that he was kind of like, he said I'm immunized, but he just kind of beat around the bush, and you think that if he would have just been like straight up, it would have been a little better?
Yeah, man, he's like, if he would have approached it like the New Zealand people approached the whole COVID thing, did you hear about this? New Zealand?
Yeah.
So we recorded our 20th episode before this. Welcome to episode 20, everybody. Fehr the burn. And it was just garbage. The audio was super bad. But we talked about how in New Zealand, they asked the prime minister a question where they were like, are you making it easier for people who are vaccinated than
like,
people
are
who
you
aren't
making
vaccinated?
a two-tiered society where you'll have the vaccinated, like a two-class society? And
they were like, yeah, we are. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a...
But here's the thing. I like that. I think that's really gangster to come out and be like, they're like, hey, we're kind of seeing this shit go down. Are you making sure that like people who are vaccinated get more privileges and shit and people who aren't don't? And they're like, absolutely. Absolutely.
So if we did that with black people in the 1960s, would that have made it okay? Because like because essentially that's the same thing as if we were like, hey, you guys are making a two-tiered society of separate but equal, and clearly, like, it's a little bit worse for the black people, and that would be like if we as America went, yep.
I don't think...
And we're not changing it.
So
and it's kind of fucked up, isn't it?
I don't think it makes it okay, but it definitely makes the lines clearer. And that's what I'm trying to get at, right? It's like, at least at that point, they're being front about it, and they're not being cagey.
Lying.
Where they're like, dude, black people are treated the same in this country.
Yeah.
No, but it's like, that's the same thing with like Aaron Rodgers. I think if Aaron Rodgers would have ended up being like, I'm not vaccinated, I'm not going to get the vaccine, all this bullshit. And then he ended up getting COVID, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. Kind of like if people were like, hey, people in New Zealand who are vaccinated get to go to roller parks, they get to go to this, they get to go to that. And I'm not vaccinated, I can't go to any of that. Is there a two-tier system? No. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, and like an American politician's answer, you'd say, are you trying to create like a two-tier society here? And my camera's gone, so bear with me. But they would say, well, let's rewind it back to my childhood. And then within 2 seconds, you've lost the complete point. And it's this pretty answer to not make anyone mad. But again, like just being honest about what's happening, even if someone doesn't like it, I do have respect for that. Because it's like, okay, well, I know which which direction you're headed. You know, like,
Yeah.
If you can witness the world and the division that it already exists and want to create even more of that and being open about that, that's great. I want the people who are doing that to identify themselves. So I know. So I just know what's going on.
So the people, when they told whoever asked them this question, right? I assume it was the government of New Zealand that kind of said this, or like some
I think it was like the press, right, Coog?
Yeah,
Something.
they were just asking her, like when she was up above
Right.
everybody. Yeah.
So I guess like, was there any backlash from like the New Zealand people that were like, "Hey, don't do that"?
No,
Because I guess that
it
would
was
be the
it was
problem
looked
if they
at
were,
it
like-
was looked at as like a boss move that she was so straight up about it and that this is where we're headed and and I think New Zealand's a huge chunk of that are very supportive of that.
Right, okay.
I'm sure there's groups that aren't, but
Well, like
Interesting.
City Kickboxing, right? Like City Kickboxing, the gym, Izzy and all that.
Oh,
Like they've
yeah.
really been hit hard by all this shit. Because like
Right.
when COVID first started, they tried to quarantine together, and the New Zealand government came in and like shut that down and sent them all home. They tried to train in private, and like there was paparazzis who were hanging outside of the gym, like snapping pictures of them and shit. So that's why like Dan Hooker is like in America now, where
Right,
he's like, I don't know if
right.
I even want to go home because, you know, they have fucking coppers out there that are like, stay inside your house. If you come outside, we will shoot you. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But here's the thing. It's like, these are all points that I brought up on that mystery 20th episode. But like, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know if this is true, because this is just me speculating off of Australia, but I guarantee you New Zealand doesn't have a lot of guns. And granted, not like if they had guns, like they could protect themselves from the fucking government.
Right.
But if they don't have any guns, they have a lot less freedom just inherently. Like there's a lot more chance of a government like shutting you down inside of your house. And,
Yeah. Well, because that's what I was going to say about that is pretty boss of that prime minister to just like come out and say that. But if she had said that, like, this is what we're doing, and there was like a major faction of society that was like of New Zealand that was like, we don't want this, then I think makes it a little fucked up that the government doesn't represent that side of the people and instead is just
For
like,
sure.
nope, this is what we're doing.
For sure.
But if like everyone's in support of it, that argument is
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, they enjoy having all of their shit taken away. They like it.
well, that was Jenna visited Australia and she had gone to a couple bars and stuff, and they had talked about like the time where they did their gun buyback program, and she was like, yeah, everyone was just like, yeah, we chill, we hang, like we have a great culture, we got rid of all our guns, so we're not a violent place. And then we've seen some of the craziest restrictions. You know, like I've seen videos of whole apartment complexes with a guard standing in the front of the place with a gun, and it's like, well, I know every single person in that place doesn't have a gun, and so they are now at the mercy of this one guy.
Yeah.
And I understand the argument of like, if you have a shotgun or if you have an AR, you're not going to be able to take on the U.S. military, but it's not about like meeting them on the battlefield. They have to come to you when it comes to that.
Right.
And if you are a sitting duck with nothing, they can just kick your door in and walk in and throw you or kill you or do whatever. But if you have a corrupt cop in those times that's like, okay, I have to secure this location, but every single door I go in, there's someone in there that's willing to die to not do this. That's a whole different thing than, oh, there's just a bunch of sitting sheep in there that we can just go in there and get them. That's what happened in Russia back in the day, is like complete pacification, no weapons, and then they could just walk into your house at night and handcuff you, and people would just go with them because they were pacified. And you have to have a little backbone and a little something in you, you know?
But that's what happens when you have the whole ass country, and I'm presuming New Zealand is pretty similar because I'm sure it bleeds over, that was just set up as a prison. Like, it's like Australians were brought over on a fucking ship
Right,
being
it was a
prisoners.
prison island.
And I think that a lot of that is migrated down to New Zealand too, so I'm sure they have a culture where it's like, you know, we're fucking here because we got put here, man,
Well,
so...
I think that we also, though, as a country and a society, are kind of inherently built to not trust the government because we came from a government that we didn't trust. Like, that's the whole reason we exist, is we broke up. So the whole thing of our Constitution was like freedom and power to the people, and like the government shouldn't have that much like oversight and control. Whereas if you're from New Zealand and you're just born into a system where that happens, and you actually trust your government, like, and you're like, they're making the right choices. Where all of us this whole episode have been like, oh, fucking this, CDC shit.
Yeah.
So I think that there's just more of a trust. It seems like a more peaceful kind of like combination or relationship between people and government that they have. So
Yeah.
I think it makes it like an easier system, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and a smaller population, when you have 400 million people, like people pretend like being being the president of the United States is something easy, and like that's a lot of people that most of them are going to disagree with whatever you do, you know. And it's like when you have a population of 10 million people, you can get a lot more cohesion going on. Within that, I don't know how much New Zealand has, but that might be an aspect. And I think also that it's naive. It shows naivety of a country if they have full trust in their government, because you're saying that every single person in that body has all of your best interests in mind and are doing it every single day, and that's not true.
Right.
A lot of those people have interests for themselves that they would rather do, and that's great, that's fine, but like to just be completely friends with your government, I don't think is a good thing. But to want to overthrow your government also, to want to have a revolution and go in a circle, isn't the answer either. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I think that a lot of that does have to do with what Dave's saying, where it's like we were set up with a country that we were trying to break free of another government, and that's why we kind of view it like that. Isn't
that like the story of everybody? Hasn't there always been like the people that like hate the system that's been established and want to free themselves from it, and like every single. Like, has there ever been a civilization where they were like, yeah, everyone is absolutely happy with how the king has treated everybody?
Right.
I feel like through every society.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
right.
Like Switzerland's the best.
It's some magical place, dude, where people are riding around on fucking unicorns.
But,
I
there's no way.
don't even know if Switzerland has 1 million people, though. Like, Switzerland's a really small country. That's the thing with, like, I think Switzerland and, like, it seems like Norway or places like that, people always use this as an example. Like, they got it right. They know what's going on. They know how to have a government. It's like they also have maybe 1/10 of the amount of people that we have. So I think population is a major problem.
Huge thing.
Well, I think New Zealand is pretty small.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think it's bigger
which would
than
make sense
2
why
million.
if people are willing to trust the government. Also, I'd have to look at like the actual history of New Zealand. Has their government fucked them over a lot? Like ours in America has, that like literally was running tests and like drugging people, doing all this wild shit. Has straight up just murdered people throughout history.
5 million New Zealand.
Yeah, see, that's not a lot of people.
Wow.
It's a good amount, but I don't. That's
right, but that's
not
like
a lot.
what's the population of L.A.? Is that like does that even crack L.A.?
Yeah,
it
does barely. A million more.
Yeah,
that's not that much.
And that's a small city in the grand scheme of the United States. You know what I'm saying? Like over the expanse of everything. And so to have cohesion within that is going to be like the biggest task someone could be faced with.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like people in New Zealand also, again, like going back to trust their government, they like their elected officials a lot more than like we do. Like here, it's become the thing to be polarized and be like, I'm on this side or I'm on this team fucking Iron Man or Team Captain America, whatever team, Team Jacob, Team this. It's always about like, get on our side, get on a team. Whereas they see in New Zealand, it seems like everybody just cares about New Zealand like, as a tribe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's no separation between like Idaho and Texas and New York, and there's no, because it's all New Zealand. Yeah. That's a really good ass point.
We have taught patriotism so much that we try to like have that kind of like nationalist ideology in everything, and it doesn't work because we forget that we're also still on the same team.
Yep.
Yeah. Coog, have you ever watched the nuclear bomb tracker? Where it shows you every nuclear test that was done from like 19...
From the first one ever.
Yeah, which
in
is...
the 40s.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you this real quick.
Okay.
Oh, see if you can see it.
I also really love how your camera hasn't been working, and you've been trying to figure out during this podcast, and it's just been me and Dave. So like, even when you're talking, it's just us, like, our reactions.
Yeah, no, we're good, dude. I'm just the tech guy over here. But, so this is... And we can see it right here. I'll actually zoom it in on this screen. But it's that whole being on a team thing. So a guy finds a flag that says Team A, and then a guy with a flag with Team B walks by, and he's like, wow, fuck that guy. Instantly. That's how humans operate, is that the second that they have identified with the team, anyone who's on the other team, well, fuck that guy. He's not Team A. Well, fuck him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is like the tribal mentality that is rampant in our country, I feel like.
I think that's also just a human innate thing, too. Like, I think humans are always trying to find tribes and, trying to find their fucking teams and shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I'm on a team. I am on a team. And this team is a good team. It's a great team. It's a blue team.
It's the KKK.
It's a fast. It's a blue team, not a white team, you fucking racist fuck. It's a fast team. It's a hedgehog team. It's a team with great shakes.
God.
It's a team with great food. And it's a team that's a great hang. And I'm talking about Team motherfucking Sonic. All right?
Can I tell you something that I've heard rather recently about that place?
Tell me, Cougar.
I've heard that it is like one of the worst places for fast food you could ever go.
That's interesting. I also heard a really similar thing.
Oh.
I wonder who Cougar could have heard that from. Listen,
It's on
man.
like Facebook or something.
Fuck off, man. Listen, man. David, the other day we were driving around and I asked him, I said, David, what do you think the worst fast food is?
Without hesitation, I was easily able to pick up the single worst fast food establishment chain that has ever been created, which is
So wrong.
Sonic.
No, you're wrong. Can you tell me why?
Okay.
Because you say it's a bad business
It's
plan.
bad design.
No.
It's a bad design for a restaurant.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because,
let's hear it.
okay, well, first of all, let's just get this out of the way. Their food is subpar at best.
Okay.
Like, it's just kind of generic fast food. There's nothing special. They don't have... They're one thing, I will give them credit for this. They're, Route 44 drinks or whatever? Those big ones?
Bomb.
Those are pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's, like, the only thing they have. Their shakes are, I'd rather go to Dairy Queen. Their
Wrong.
burgers are, I'd rather
Wrong.
go to McDonald's or, it's fast food. It's not that great. But the real problem with Sonic is that when you go to Sonic, you are presented with two options of how to get food.
Mhm.
You can get in line
Yeah.
at the drive-thru where you can sit, you can order your food, you get it, you drive out into the world, you eat your food while you're driving. It's a pain in the ass because you're eating your food in your car.
And they're endangering a lot of people.
Yes.
That's a terrible business
Yes.
model, I feel like.
Or you can pull up to the restaurant and go to the slower drive-thru where you park and push your button and wait for them to give it to you, and then you still have to sit there and eat in your car, which is the worst place to eat food. Like, why? Do I want a slow drive-thru or slightly faster drive-thru? How is that a good idea? They don't even come on fucking roller skates anymore, man. That's the whole reason anyone went. That was their whole gimmick.
Because they don't want to endanger anybody. Right,
So you
Cougar?
can let them
Right?
eat and drive?
First of all, fucker, every fast food place allows you to eat and drive.
Yeah, but
okay,
Sonic does
that's
it
their
in
whole
person
thing.
twofold.
That's their whole thing. Okay. Secondly, you're gonna tell me it's a bad business plan because they have, first of all, 2 sections for you to get food at. Okay, so not only are they working 1 section, now they're working 2. Also, if you're on a date and you wanted to like hang for a little longer, or maybe I'm with you and I want to suck your dick. Okay, and I can't do that in the fucking Sonic drive-thru.
We
You know
can't
where
do that in the Sonic Park place either.
I absolutely have a better chance of doing it, don't I?
But the people are coming up. There's other people pulling next to you. It's not like it's a private location just 'cause you're in your car.
It's pretty private, man. I mean, like, they have the screens on both sides. Like, it's a pretty tight little window, and I'm going to be sucking on your tight little dick in that tight little window. But what I'm trying to say is it's a good hang.
Mhm.
I think that Sonic is a good hang.
No.
Because not only do
If
they
you
have
go
two,
to Sonic,
not only do
if
they
you go to Sonic to hang out, you get new
Oh my
friends.
God.
New friends. Sorry.
I'm going to need new friends. I'm going to need new friends from you.
Yeah, I don't want to be
Okay,
your
it's a
friend if you
good
like
hang.
Sonic.
All right. We're going to need to have a civil discussion about this.
Yeah.
Fucker. First of all, it's a good hang. There's 3 sections where you can get food, okay? There's a regular drive-thru,
Doesn't that
There's-
seem rather excessive?
the sitting
Because
drive-thru,
they don't staff more employees to run.
and
the
there's the
convention.
standing waiting section,
Oh,
okay?
the standing waiting
Yeah,
section.
yeah, where
Hey,
if
The
it's
waiting
nice
section,
outside.
standing waiting section.
or the sitting in your car waiting section 2.0.
All right, and they have Route 44 drinks, which we went over, which are pretty
Yeah,
good.
but you're kind of starting to lean on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, one drink
It's
for
your
a whole
fried-
business model.
Their shakes,
Aren't as good as Dairy Queen.
super good.
Aren't as good as
Super
Do they
good.
do the upside down cup thing? I don't
No,
think so.
because that's not a shake. That's a blizzard.
It's the same thing.
It's not. A blizzard is more like
Okay,
concrete.
this is a
more like
different argument.
concrete.
Different
okay.
argument. Different argument.
Listen, and this is the other thing. Sonic, it's not the worst. It just isn't. Like, I understand if you have issues against it.
What would you say is the
can't
worst?
say it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's probably a couple options. I was telling.
but if you
I was
can't
telling
come up with
David.
something-
I was. You know what? That's called a lead-in. Called a lead-in. Arctic Circle, I think is pretty terrible.
I would argue against that. I actually like.
Okay, now let me ask Cougar a question because we asked this yesterday.
Okay.
Was there an Arctic Circle in Arco?
No.
Wow,
That
that's surprising.
me. I'm surprised.
Because I feel like Arctic Circle is the small town discount fast food chain.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because it's like in Idaho Falls and stuff. But no, that's it. I don't think a bit like businesses would not do good in Arco like that.
But I mean, there are still Arctic Circles like popping up. Any Sonic that I've ever seen is usually going out of business.
Oh
shutting
really?
one down.
Oh really?
So,
Is that why?
How many dead Sonic parking lots did I go by in Cedar City? At least 2.
Oh, interesting. Are they still up?
That's
Are they still
tough.
running?
No, because they became fast food Mexican restaurants that were 24/7 because they couldn't make money because nobody likes Sonic.
Where are they at?
Cedar City.
Yeah, you know what else dies in Cedar City? Everything!
No, it's
Everything
but
dies!
It's a tourist town. There's a lot of population.
Dude,
there are a lot of people that come
dude,
through and a lot of
dude,
business. So just because a restaurant dies doesn't mean that the city's
dude.
bad. I think that because it's also a university town, so fast food thrives there.
That
Hey,
would
man.
thrive there.
Yeah, there's like 18 indie like
I'm gonna
fast
tell
food
you-
places.
So then it just becomes the quality of the design of your fast food
Yeah.
because fast food is already a
Yeah,
demand in
because,
that area.
Because if Sonic was giving me like fucking grade A tasty burgers, I don't give a shit that I have to eat it in my car.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the food is like,
eh.
so it doesn't.
You ever had the jalapeno burger?
I
It's
never
the
had.
number 4, man. I'm taking you after this show. We're gonna go get it. I'm missing my football games. I'm missing Aaron Rodgers vaccinated and unvaccinated ass not playing. I'm gonna take you to get this burger.
But I think
Their chicken sandwiches are garbage. I'll fucking agree with that. Their chicken sandwiches taste like they're cardboard, man. They're a little slit of paper. They're terrible. Sonic, not that bad, though. Arctic Circle, worse than Sonic. Dairy Queen, overall, as a fast food restaurant, worse than Sonic. Yeah, their shakes are good and their ice cream's good. Their fucking burgers are shit, though.
But-
their burgers are shit.
But do you go to Dairy Queen for the burgers?
no.
You can.
No, but you,
You-
don't.
you
But you
go
go
for a
for
Blizzard.
Yeah, you go to Sonic for
What do you-
their like the burgers and the food.
You go to Sonic for nothing. 'cause
There-
there's
yeah,
nothing
exactly,
out there.
exactly.
Like when I think I'm gonna go to Dairy Queen, I know I'm gonna go get a Blizzard, a
Yep.
fucking cookie dough Blizzard. They're gonna do the cup trick. I'm gonna be like, shit, this is the greatest day of my life.
Yep.
If I go to Sonic, I just look at the menu and go, there's
Underwhelmed.
nothing that somebody
Yeah.
goes, oh, I got this fucking chili dog from Sonic and it was so good. No,
Yeah,
it's
can I do the
gross.
number 4, please, with a large fry? Can I also get your good as fuck pretzel twist with cheese? Can I
Is that what
do
it's called
your
on the menu?
chili cheese tots? Can I get your hot fudge sundae with nuts? Listen, man, Sonic has good shit. Okay, they got jalapeno poppers, they got mozzarella sticks, they got motherfucking burgers, they got fries, they got big ass drinks. It's a good hang. It's a good place. It's where all the hedgehogs hang out. Okay?
But-
end of discussion. We're not saying that Sonic is the fucking worst fast food on this podcast. We're not saying that.
The only point that I have to say is all of those things you just named, I could find better at other fast
at
food
every
restaurants.
other place.
No.
Yeah.
Can you find any other fast food place with 3 separate seating sections?
Why would I want that? That is the whole argument here.
Options.
Options?
Options,
So
bitch.
So the options are you sit in your car twice, or you sit at a metal table outside with a grated thing that makes your ass hurt.
Yep.
It's not good. That's perfect reason why it's a terrible fucking stupid restaurant.
I don't agree with you.
All right.
See, at least like McDonald's has like a big toy and stuff.
Cougar.
you know?
Yeah, or like
Can
a pad.
you-
They got
Yeah.
a playground.
Yeah, they got
If Sonic
shit.
had a playground. Problem
That'd
solved.
be dope.
First of all, McDonald's taking out all their playgrounds, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They're making everything
is
look
that
like
COVID?
they're making everything look business casual now,
Well,
dude.
if they're becoming more like Sonic, then that would be a net negative on their business. I feel like.
Can you please tell me, get off of whatever he's talking about. Please tell me what
Thanks
you
for the
think
logic.
the worst fast food place is. And if you say Sonic, I'm actually going to knock all the coins out of you, okay?
Well, because I don't agree with Arctic Circle. You can't say McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. Burger King, I'm not a huge fan of, but
Their Whoppers,
but it's
Whoppers
okay.
are good,
are we
man.
going?
Their
Yeah,
chicken
like
fries are good.
they're
They're decent.
So I guess would it be like judging off of the frequency that I've visited one? in my
No,
life?
like your experience there, right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
I remember Sonic. I just don't think Sonic stands out for anything because, like you said, they had like the roller skating and stuff, and then they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
can you
And so-
look up popular fast food chains?
You know,
Because I want to see. Because listen, man, Cougar Fehr is not enjoying this conversation. He's like, I guess.
No,
I hate carcinogens, but it's fine.
I want to
It's all
identify
giving
this
you
shit.
cancer.
I want to identify this shit.
I'm just saying that for sure Arctic Circle is worth. They literally have a menu item called Bag of Burgers, man.
Yeah, they don't try to pretend to be more than they are. You know what you're getting. You want a bag of fucking burgers, you get a bag of fucking burgers.
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out's it's pretty overrated.
It's good,
But it's good, yeah. Chick-fil-A is better for sure.
Sonic
Do you see that when you look up popular restaurants, how Sonic is the third one that comes up?
It's probably just places that are close.
Dude, we don't have an In-N-Out in Idaho.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So,
Location.
okay. Taco Bell, right? It's okay.
No,
It's
I'd
okay.
say Taco Bell's better than.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
it's okay.
Absolutely.
Everything at Taco Bell tastes the same.
And all of it's good.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
And they're different because they have like tacos, they have burritos.
Yeah.
Like McDonald's can't give me that. Sonic can't give me that. Burger King can't give me that. So like that when I want like a niche thing that I can be like, okay, I remember Sonic had like those Skittle shakes and they had Skittles in them. And I got like the blue raspberry one. That was
I think
pretty
they still
good.
have those. They have like nerd shakes and stuff like that. Where you can get like
shakes,
nerds.
yeah. So that's but also like it's just a drink though, and I eat more than I get drinks. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't travel to somewhere to get a drink all the time. I travel to get like food more. So
are you gonna
It's back and
rock
forth,
with Sonic being the worst fast food?
if you could give me
place?
if you could give me one that's worse than it, I would agree with you.
What is your thing against Arctic Circle?
I think that the burgers are better. I think the burgers are pretty good.
When was the last time you had a Sonic burger?
Shit, like
had
just
that-
college time sometime.
You had that number 4 jalapeno burger?
I haven't had the
son?
jalapeno number 4 yet.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody has this shit burger, dude.
we got to get sponsored by Sonic now. I don't know if but
They're gonna want
If you get sponsored by someone, you best come fucking roller skating into this fucking studio.
Nah, man. I don't think Sonic is the worst, but I don't necessarily. I'm not trying to say it's the best.
So
I'm
what
just
is
trying
the
to say,
best?
what's the best fast food place?
What's the best?
I'll tell you what. Oh, hold on. I think I have one that's worse than Sonic.
Okay.
And we'll get to the best in a second.
Is it like an actual chain?
It's an actual chain, and you'll know it.
Okay.
A&W. I can't tell you a single A&W that's actually just an A&W. And it isn't an
point.
A&W and KFC or A&W and Taco
I
Bell.
always had an A&W and gas station together.
What the
That's
fuck?
usually what it is.
Yeah.
That's how I've seen
Really?
it.
Yeah.
In a lot of small towns, they're usually like in a Chevron. It's like
Yeah.
half the Chevron.
So how's their actual food?
I've always liked it. I've
It's
always
not
thought
bad.
the burgers were
Yeah,
good.
it's not bad. Their root beer's really fucking good.
Yeah, they have the root beer gimmick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good as fuck. You
Okay.
can get like the growlers.
Yeah, you
of
can get it
them.
like in a frosty ass mug, and it's like a collectible thing. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've had their shakes.
They
like
actually
their
put
root beer
mustard on their
floats.
hamburgers, which is a
Yeah.
cool thing that not a lot of fast food
That's
places do.
that's
In-N-Out
facts,
does that. That's why In-N-Out's burgers are super good. It's like
Oh,
coat them
dude.
in mustard.
Oh, their
Yeah.
burgers are just fucking good.
I'm still gonna stick with my thing of Arctic Circle, and I think A&W's up there too because just on the fact that they typically are not their own places.
The A&W is a fair argument. I feel like.
But A&W may be combined with a KFC or a Taco Bell here or there, but there's a lot of ghost town Sonics out there, son. There's a lot of Sonics that are no longer existent. In fact, in my lifetime, I've been to like 4 different cities where I've been like, "Is that a Sonic?" People go, "It's closed down."
Nah, no,
Like Sonic's dying, bro.
There's Sonic skeletons
no.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
And other restaurants pop up in the graveyard because you can still see the little things overhead for the stupid design of parking to order your food.
One more. You guys ever had Freddy's?
I
The
never even heard of
steak
it.
burger and
Yeah.
custard place.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Also pretty terrible. Just throwing these out
I
there.
haven't heard great reviews about that place, so I can
Cust-
tell you for sure.
Custard and ice cream, pretty good, right? It's their thing. But like past that, their chicken, their fucking burgers, not that great. What do you think the best fast food place is?
I might be saying KFC.
Dude,
I like chicken.
I'll tell you what. Me and Dave.
We've been like crack addicts with those chicken sandwiches the last few days, dude. We
Oh
just
yeah.
more chicken,
Since
more.
So
coming back
good.
from
So good.
me and Dave went to Ocean Shores for a week with our buddy Justin. Shout out Jay, we love you.
Shout out Jay.
Fuck you, David. But on our way back, David was like, we should stop by somewhere to get something to eat. And I was like, all right, we can come to this KFC. And he's like, oh, they have a chicken sandwich? Why didn't I never know that? I was like, oh, they just came out with it like 9 months ago. Dude, I don't know what they put in those chicken sandwiches, but it has to be methamphetamine. Because it's so good, dude.
Yep.
So good. There was another time in college, too, that we just went to a KFC. And it was the KFC in Pocatello, like on 5th, kind of by that Fred Meyer's, I think is over there.
Yeah.
And we just rolled up, and we usually just went and got Famous Bowls back in the day, and so we would get, like, Famous Bowls. Super good, right? But we rolled up, and they were like, hey, we're closing down for the night, and we have, like, 2 buckets of chicken left. You guys want this chicken? And we were like, for how much? They were like, we'll just give it to you.
Fuck yeah.
So we got fucking Famous Bowls and 2 fucking... We started calling all of our friends. We were like, we got all this chicken. You got to come over. You got to come over.
All in all, they charge us like $15 for 2 buckets of chickens and two Famous Bowls.
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
ridiculous.
That is beautiful.
There's a video of me very rich, right?
Yes.
I had been counting a lot of money that night. I was very rich.
Yep.
And very full from chicken, and also very fat, probably weighing less than I do now, but looked so fat in this video, with just chicken all over me. And Jay comes up and he's like, Chandler, what's going on with you? And I was like, oh, I was hungry. And he was like, you made a fucking mess. And I just go, Mez likes chicken. It's a good video. We'll post it on our
Oh my
Instagram.
God,
We'll get it from
that's
Jay
so
and we'll post
funny.
it on our Insta.
Jan, I'm not gonna yell at you, but what the fuck is all over you?
I think that would be a good thing to have out in the world, to really finally release that out into the world.
Hell yeah.
Put it on your TikTok.
So did we decide on what the best fast food place was?
I say KFC.
Oh yeah, Coog's saying KFC.
Yeah, I'd be hard pressed to argue that too. I don't really like better, especially with how much we did eat in KFC lately.
I would
Chicken sandwiches.
probably say Chick-fil-A.
They hate gay people.
That's why.
Yeah.
Because I also hate faggots. Bundles of sticks.
Burn them all.
And all the gays.
Burn them all.
I hate all the gays. I hate all the gays. LGBTQ stands for Let's Get Bitches. LGBT.
You have to start going through the letters so you can make a better acronym.
Together. Quietly and burn them. That's what LGBTQ plus stands for. That's what the plus stands for, burn all of them alive.
Oh, shit. Speaking of harming people and people dying, did you see that Travis Scott concert that went on yesterday?
Friday?
Yesterday?
It was this weekend for sure. I thought on some articles that I was reading it was Friday.
Let's see.
But I did hear about that.
I have
I
some
know
videos.
nothing.
David knows nothing about what happened. David, do you know who Travis Scott is?
Nope. I don't do the internet.
He's a rapper guy.
A rapper guy.
Mm-hmm. A rapper guy.
I see. Immortal
He
Tattoo.
has speaking of fast food, he has a meal at McDonald's,
Oh.
much like BTS,
Oh.
or I believe
Oh, yeah.
Doja. I think Doja Cat.
Is it like this is what Travis Scott gets when he goes to McDonald's?
I think so. I think that's what those are based off of, is like what they like. But yeah, apparently people died at this Travis Scott concert. That's pretty crazy, huh?
That's not good.
No.
Viewer discretion is advised. There's your
So
trigger warning.
were they throwing hands? Like, is it moshing that killed them?
It was that it was so cramped, and there's a video right here.
Hold on. So how's it like? So I assume it's like a pit area.
Mm-hmm.
That was the beginning. That's how it
So
started.
people rushing into
People
And
like
there's 50,000.
they're breaking, like they broke the fence over, so they're already like trampling people right there.
Oh, fuck.
Shit.
That guy just talks about it.
Literally laying on the ground at Astro World, praying for all those lost to their lives. Wow, they're like on the ground.
There's one where this girl is just like,
So was it that fence that they were trampling over that people got murked, or was it like something during the concert?
it was during the concert.
Well, I'll tell you what, they definitely were not social distancing.
Yeah, right here. And it's fuzzy, which sucks, but they are like, damn, I
Yeah.
wish it wasn't fuzzy, dude. That sucks.
Nah,
Were they
fuck,
like-
fuck the audience. Show
Are they,
us.
like, shoulder shoulder to shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, they're
What is
like,
going on?
there are people who are like screaming, I can't breathe, because there's someone's back pressed up against their chest and someone's chest pressed up against their back. And so there's people dying, they're trying to get help, and then in this one, then it all kicks back in.
Yeah,
This
he
guy's
doesn't
like,
stop the
"Fuck."
show at all.
No. We just need to find it. Yeah, this is how chaotic it was.
Sorry for
Oh,
not being
dude.
able to hear any of this,
And the
but
audio is so shit.
Yeah,
We'll have to
just
watch.
people going crazy.
We need to watch this outside of this when we're done. But it is this whole scenario where you have a huge mosh pit, and you have people who can't breathe, and then they pass out, and they fall, and then they can't get up, and you have a crowd that's like pushing, and so when you fall, and so like Dave falls, and I'm right there, and I try to help him up. All of a sudden, and you can't stop it, the wave hits you and takes you 20, 50 feet to the left, and you're stuck there. People stepping on you, and like people were dying at this place, bro. And like there's one video where there's like people in two different spots you can see in the same camera trying to get resuscitated. People are like turning around and then scooting up and then like getting their hands back up and partying and shit. And then EMTs pull up with a golf cart, right? And it's got like big ass blue and red lights and shit. People, and they're trying to resuscitate this guy who's unconscious on the ground, and people jump on top of the golf cart and start dancing and shit.
what the fuck?
Like it was complete animal behavior, bro. It was insane.
That's
like there were
fucking
people who
wild.
were like dead on the ground, and people were dancing around them and shit. And then like this one guy, there was like a group of 8 EMTs who were like had this guy in like a carrier thing, and they all had handles on it, and they like rushed by this little like circle that had opened, and right as they rushed through, everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And then this guy does a backflip, and everyone's like, "Fuck yeah!" And then they all run in together, dude. Like they did not care at all.
Dude, that's the internet
Bringing
right
it
there.
back.
That's
Backflip, son.
That's you fucking scrolling through TikTok, being like, "Holy shit, that dude's in a bad predicament." Wow, that guy's doing a cool flip.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
Yep.
Oh, that's a sad dog.
Yep.
Like that
Yep.
is so
Exactly.
nuts.
It's wild. There's like, and Travis Scott didn't stop it at all. There's one video where you can see him standing on the stage. It's behind him, and he's looking out into the crowd. And there's like, you can see the golf cart with the fucking lights going on, and he's like, "I want to see you make this motherfucking ground shake." And then they kick in the next song and shit, and it's just like, oh my god, dude! Like, there's people who are dying. You know what I'm saying? And this girl jumps up onto the side. Like, there's this guy videotaping her, and she's like yelling at the camera guy, like, "There's dead people down here. Like, we have to stop the show." And the camera guy's just like, "You need to get down." Like, and he's trying to film it and everything, and it's just scary, man.
It's
It
crazy.
gives me weird vibes, bro.
It's crazy because I have seen so many videos of artists stopping their whole shit because someone throws a coin at them, someone throws a water bottle, like something happens physically to them, and they go, "Stop! What the fuck is going on? Who threw that shit? Get them the fuck out!"
Yep.
And for him to not be involved in that just kind of shows that he didn't give a fuck.
Didn't really give a fuck. Because there was one time, there was a video that showed him pausing at one point for, it was like probably 15 seconds. He was like, "Oh, hold on. There's a guy that passed out right here." And then they like came and picked him up, and they were carrying him off, and he just like kind of waited until he was off, and then they started singing again, which is good because I saw a couple videos of like Jaden Smith and Post Malone like stopping the whole concert, telling everyone to stop, like, we need to like help this person right here. But they kicked back in, and it was just like, yeah, did no one think that like if that happened to one person, is there anyone in this 50,000 person audience that might need help as well, that like could potentially die because they're passing out, and like the people are fucking shoving and pushing and everything, but they just kicked right back in. So it's just like awareness.
Is that the same festival?
Yeah.
Same festival that happened?
Yep.
Okay. So like,
'Cause
there's been multiple deaths at this festival, it seems like then, huh?
Yeah, there were 8. There were 8.
Like just at his concert, at Travis's concert, or was it other people's shit too?
No, this was all him. This was his Astro World,
yeah.
his performance, and I'm pretty sure it was last night or yesterday.
Yeah.
So maybe Friday night, yeah. But yeah, like,
Here's my question. Go ahead.
I just like looking up at the sky and only hearing like, because at times like the songs would cut out because it would be the end of it, and people would be like, help us, and then he'd be like, let's go.
Yeah.
And then you can't hear shit. You know what I'm saying? And like, just to be laying on the ground like, holy fuck, no one's like, I'm going to die around people who could just turn around and pull me up, but no one's going to do it. You know, like that's just like shocking to me, you know, like
that's city mentality.
It's crazy to me that you're talking about a concert, because if I heard that out of context, I'd be like, oh, he's talking about medieval warfare.
Yeah, seriously.
Where people get fucking trampled to death, like people get so clustered and everyone's trying to fight, people get shoved down and smothered, you're looking up and you're like, oh, any of these people could stop this war and just reach down, we can all love each other and help each other. It's a fucking concert. That's ridiculous.
Completely out of hand. Scary as fuck. And it also shows to me that, like, again, Travis Scott is not like an evil guy who's trying to murder people, but he also just doesn't really give a fuck about you. Yeah. He doesn't really give a fuck about you.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So he definitely has in-ears in, like the shit that goes in his ears during performances. And typically, there's going to be like a metronome that plays constantly, like even when there's no track.
Right.
So there is a chance that he didn't necessarily, from his angle hear. He for sure saw the lights and saw the people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
My question is, what should happen to Travis Scott? Nothing?
I think it comes down to like the whole, and this is a huge jump, but like the Holocaust example of like, okay, well, who takes responsibility? Because like y'all fucked up, like everyone fucked up. You have police on the scene like trying to resuscitate people, and the concert isn't stopping because again, there was a claim on one of the comments that was like, I was in the front row and we couldn't hear anybody screaming that. Like, and so there's no way he could hear that. But there's no way that they didn't see that, and there's no way that, like, when that girl was yelling at that cameraman, one of the comments was, I've worked, like, managing concerts before, and I know guaranteed that cameraman's headset goes straight to a producer or a director. And so it's just like, the fact that the word couldn't get around fast enough that they couldn't get, because the thing is, it came down to Travis stopping it though, because that was the only person anyone was going to listen to at that time.
Yeah. Right.
No EMT, as you could see, or not you could see, but as I told you, like pulling in with a fucking vehicle to save people, like no one gives a shit. It would have to be him, like, okay, turn on the lights, everyone like stop moving, and for whatever reason, I don't think he like looked out and said, oh, that person's dying, well, I'm going to like let them die, and but I just think he just is just doing his thing. And when people think that like, oh, well, why didn't this singer save me? It's like, well, he like the relationship you have with him is not the relationship he has with you.
Yeah.
How much you care about him, he literally can't return that. And so I understand though, situational awareness, and you can't have people dying at your fucking concert, you know, but I think it falls on like the team, and then who do you like give the responsibility to, you know?
Right.
So what do you think? Yeah, what do you guys think?
I think that it like it's hard to kind of like entirely blame Travis Scott and be like, this is your fault that those people are dead. But I do think that there's some sort of blame or iota that is like owed to him, because like I'm not a crazy concert going. I only ever went to one concert, but even there, like with loud music and stuff, like even if I wasn't paying attention to the stage, I could, like, there was somebody that ended up getting thrown out for shoving some people over here, because I was right next to the stage at a Maroon 5 concert, so it was me and then all women, and so they were all trying to get up to the front of the stage, and like a small group kind of near the front got thrown out. But like even watching the stage, very quickly I was able to pick up that something was going on over here just by like sounds, and that's with earplugs in at this concert. Right. And not only just because of the sound, but like the feeling. Like it's pretty easy to tell when something isn't right? Like if you have that like human instinct. Yep. And so especially like even if it's a group of 50,000 people, if there's a group that's near the front that's having that much issue or in that much distress, that should be pretty fucking clear, right?
Absolutely.
But I wouldn't entirely blame him either, because if there's other like performers, like backup singers or somebody on stage, like at what point is it their responsibility to also step up and be like, yo, this is more than just your performance now. Look there, fuckface.
Yep. Because there's people, there's this hype man, there's this DJ, there's all people with their backs to the back of the stage, and they're behind him looking out into the thing. And so it's like you would have to be able to pick up on something. Because there's one clip where a song ends and people are like, Travis, Travis. And then after like 2 seconds, it starts to fade out. And then all of a sudden, it starts to sound kind of weird. And people are like it starts to sound more like people just yelling. And then all of a sudden, people are like, help, help us. And he was looking at somewhere else, talking, and then got back into the next song. It's just,
Right.
it's hard, man. That is scary. That is sad.
The idea that nobody stopped that. Like, there was not one person that was like, maybe. That's kind of
just
sad.
Yeah.
We should arrest Travis Scott and give him a death penalty.
Of what?
His life.
Well, but how do you?
We put him
what's
in a
the
box,
death?
and he has to perform until he can no longer
Yes.
stand. And when he falls, he must still perform.
Hell
And then
yeah.
we'll send a bunch of people in, and we'll have him trampled.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll lay him on the ground and then
Just
have a
what-
million people run.
Do we know any of the victims' names? We can start a hashtag. Hashtag justice for
Yeah.
these people.
Say their names. Say their names. We can say their names. We can know their
Say their
stories. But I'll tell you what, soon in this life, we will not even be able to see their faces.
Facts.
Why? Because we are living in the goddamn future.
Yes, we are. We really are. And I've seen that SpongeBob episode where he's like, future, Have you ever- when the future's chrome and everything.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just about there, where everything's just going to turn chrome.
Yeah, like where we might start putting on, headsets where we see other things around us that aren't really there.
Other worlds, if
Other
you will.
worlds. You could have your own home, set up. That would be completely different. But possibly you could have some of your own materials in this virtual home.
Yes.
What are we talking about, Cougar?
We're talking about the grand old up-and-coming Metaverse.
Metaverse.
And this is essentially an extension of the internet. And so the interaction that we have with the internet right now is only through a screen, and they're trying, just like a video game. Your only interaction with a video game is through a screen right now, but what they're trying to do is put you into that. This gets a lot of movies, a lot of movie scripts in mind of like, oh shit, we've heard this kind of idea before. It's cool. We'll start off with what's cool about it. You get to, we'd essentially be able to do this podcast exactly like this, and you could be at your house, you could be in Washington, I could be in Alaska. As long as we have connection to the internet, we could simulate, and the point, I think what they're getting at as well is it will be as real reality, so you won't be able to tell the difference. And so we could literally be having this conversation as real as it looks, but not be together at all. We're stepping into a time where Facebook will become a location you can go to, and it won't be Facebook specifically, but it'll be something like that where you have a community you can virtually travel to instantaneously to new worlds and experience whatever there is to experience, and then you can generate whatever worlds you like and do whatever you want.
You can buy them from different creators too.
Yeah, you
and
can
stuff.
create. Yeah, and there will be its own economy within. So you could go in and you could create a virtual T-shirt, and then if 100 people want that T-shirt, you could sell it to each individual person for that, and make tangible money off of something that's not physical by any means at all. But that's just Fortnite skins and stuff. People will pay a hefty penny, $20 for a fucking skin. You know what I'm saying? So what are they willing to pay to have a nice couch in their virtual home? You know what I'm saying?
Or a Louis Vuitton bag.
Right, exactly. A lot of cool things. And then they'll have one thing where you'll put the glasses on or the VR headset on, and it will try to integrate the virtual world with the real world. And so it'll, scan this table that this is on. And so when I have the goggles on, I could simulate something to pop up on top of the table, but it's going to interact with the table. If I simulate a ball and I toss it, then it'll bounce off the table because it's recognizing that the table is there. Yeah. And so you start to get into you might not even know where you are anymore, because what is reality, what isn't? Once you step into that and you can't decipher it anymore, then where are you at?
Matrix.
Or even
Matrix, exactly.
In Zuckerberg's little video on it, there was a part where he was like, you can invite your friends to concerts. Let's say you're at a concert and you want to,
let's say you're at Travis Scott's Astro World.
And you're like, I really need someone to help me. You need to zoom in your friend.
No, you won't get stomped to death because you're not actually there.
You can just witness it. Have fun with the trauma and the counseling.
Yes.
But it's like you can like kind of get your person or your friend's avatar with you. Like if me and David are physically at Astro World right now and we're safe somehow, probably because we're white people and we have good tickets. And I wanted to zoom in, whoever, my friend,
Yep.
Johnny Depp.
Yep.
And I could be like, Johnny, come to this concert. And then Johnny has the thing. He can teleport in here. And from what I understand, if David doesn't have the technology, he wouldn't be able to see
Correct.
Johnny
Yep.
Depp. But if he does, he
Yep.
would.
So anyone with that, yeah. So it's almost like having a room of ghosts, and then being able to put glasses on and seeing everyone that's actually there. Because there's an extra dimensional entity there. They're going through a different dimension than what we're used to, and that's whatever the fuck the internet is, dude. Like, how the fuck does internet happen and things go over through the air and Bluetooth transferring a file?
Ghosts.
It's ghosts, dude. That's all I know. Yeah.
And like making sure that it has your hands and like that your hands are doing the same thing they're doing in real life.
Exactly.
Mark Zuckerberg calls it the embodied internet.
Yes. Yep. That's a good way to put
I
it.
am very scared of that term.
Yes. Well, he used one phrase in particular that I was waiting for after I've heard a little bit about this. And once they have their grand ad, it was like, okay, how are we going to control this? And he said, you'll be able to control it with gestures. You'll be able to control it with your voice. And at some point, you'll even be able to control it with just a thought. I was like, there it is. What does that mean? And how, if you give the rights over to your thoughts, can you ever have a private thought again? That's real shit now. You know what I'm saying? That's not just sci-fi shit. That's people will jump in and they will go all the way in it, and that's great. But I think I'm going to ask the question of what are the ramifications of giving up my thoughts? Because that's in the end all I have, really. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That are actually mine. So people will immerse themselves harder than ever before. I've seen video game addictions. I've seen Second Life addictions, which is Zwinky, which is that online community, Second Life shit. It's people are addicted to being able to create a life that they can do exactly what they want. And if you can create a simulation where it's I can simulate 10 pretty girls around me, and and when I put my arm around them, it's going to feel exactly like putting my arm around a girl. Why would you want to go out into the real world if you could make some T-shirt designs or whatever for your little economy, and be able to sustain yourself in there, and then just grant yourself the pleasures of life?
Yeah, it's scary, man.
Would you want to do that? Would you want to do that?
Me personally, no.
Why not?
No.
You could have you look exactly how you want to look. You have as many girls or guys that you want in the room. They will do whatever you want. They're programmed fucking AI. They will do whatever you fucking want. Literally anything. Get crazy with that idea. Would you want? You wouldn't want to do that though?
No, not
Why is that?
not if it's not real, man. Not if it's
okay.
not real. I mean, obviously, if I had a bunch of slaves in a room where I, was walking in and I had a whip and a gun and I was like, do whatever I say, that would be perfect. But unfortunately, that's not how it's going. Unfortunately, it's going to be fake people who don't have any emotions or feelings when I actually touch them.
Well, so then or when you hurt them.
When I hurt
then it's
them.
okay.
Yeah. No, it makes it not okay. It makes it much less fun.
I feel you, yes.
Super dark jokes. But what I'm getting at is, no, I mean, clearly, yeah, the idea of having all that is perfect, right? But to me, I'm just so scared of people getting lost in it, man.
Yeah.
People have already gotten lost. I mean, me and Dave watched this video earlier this morning, and we've just been talking about the internet and just shit like that, and it's people have already gotten so lost in the internet as it is that when Mark Zuckerberg is trying to say this isn't about having less time, about having more time in front of screens. This is about spending the time we do spend on screens with more quality and more connection. No, motherfucker.
Lie.
This is you setting us up to not look at one screen during this time, but two. Because you'll have this Oculus in front of us, which Facebook owns Oculus.
Ooh,
Didn't know that.
Yeah, they bought them a few years back.
In 2014.
Dude, they're ahead of the game, man.
$2
They're ahead of the
billion.
game.
Also, how did they get out of that fucking big tech government bullshit? I don't know how anyone got out of that shit.
They won't get out of everything,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Ask
There it
lawyers.
is.
They
Yeah.
can answer any questions.
But it just scares me because I really see people. I mean, you talk about that Second Life shit, right? Where someone was on Second Life for
Oh
weeks?
yeah.
Or-
Like somebody lived in a VR headset for like a week, and so he'd like sleep in the thing, and like he would like put it on and like go on like nature walks and whatnot. Like, but like after, you know, it's a whole video of like, I did this for a week and blah blah. See what happened.
Yep.
And so afterwards, he's like the best thing was to like just go outside and like smell the air and stuff, because that's the thing. One of the things that he said was the biggest difference is smell. He's like you don't get that that sense at all.
Well,
which it sounds like maybe as it becomes more immersive, things like that will start to pop up.
Because all it takes is telling your brain that you're smelling something. You don't actually have to have that scent, but if you can figure out, because it's just like when you put your hand on like a hot thing and you pull it away, like your brain is saying, before you feel the pain, your brain is like telling you something. What am I trying to say with that?
It's like as a kid. Like as a kid, I don't know if this is what
like-
you're trying to say.
Like placebo a little bit, but like with something that would actually hurt you. But if you're like,
Right.
if
Right,
you're
and
like,
it's
that's
totally
hot.
placebo,
Well,
exactly, yeah.
and it's like being ticklish. Like I was ticklish for a long time, but my brothers tried to like torture me with tickling me, but I would just start being like, I'm not ticklish.
Right.
It doesn't
Yep.
tickle, doesn't tickle,
Yep.
doesn't tickle, and suddenly it wouldn't. So I
Yep.
think it's a similar. You can do a similar thing. Smell, but at the point that you have like things that you're simulating and interacting with the physical world, I don't see why they couldn't just generate smell. Or if it's something
Sure, yeah.
like Neuralink that actually truly is implanted in your brain and reads your thoughts, why could that not just be like, now you're smelling banana?
Right, exactly, yeah.
Banana,
And your brain
great.
thinks that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I think that the metaverse, the idea of it interacting with like our physical world terrifies me a lot. The general idea of it to me isn't like it's scary, but it's not like the most scary, because I think that this has existed for a long time.
Right,
Since the dawn of the internet, with like chat rooms, and then even like now, like I can get on my PlayStation and join with my buddy who's
Yep.
across the world. My other buddy comes in, we talk for a few hours or for 10 minutes, and then decide, okay, we want to get taken away to a fantasy realm. We play Chivalry.
Right,
Okay, we
right.
want to go to the apocalypse, fight some zombies.
Yep.
So
yep.
that idea doesn't bother me that much, especially because like VR has already had like chat rooms where you select an avatar and you go in, and like there's a
Yeah,
dude
true,
that
yeah.
interviews people about like PTSD stories or war stories they might not be comfortable like putting their face to. They can tell through this avatar. So like that, some of those things are kind of cool, but especially like watching the video, there was a lot of things that Zuckerberg was talking about that I realized this is just to get more money. And
Yep.
that's a real problem. And I think that we're not considering the scams and the sort of things that people could start to bring about. Like when he showed the people at the concert, and he showed the lady appear next to him, and he's like, and you'll get access to other things, and this thing pops up and it says free after party tickets, and they're both like, yes please, and they grab it. I'm like, oh, so when you're on the internet and things pop up that say free, you're supposed to grab them, right? You're immediately supposed to, because that's the smartest thing in the internet, right?
Wow, that's a good point.
Well, things like that, and then like microtransactions are, at least in my opinion, the bane of current gaming. Right?
Yes,
The
yep,
worst
I
thing
agree with
is
that.
skins and people being like, oh, you have to pay $2 for this, $1 for this. Ooh,
Yep.
buy the battle pass, this thing, and that creates a way. The metaverse creates a way to do that in real life, which I really don't like, because he's talking about you're going to have like an avatar for adventuring, an avatar for like business
Yeah,
stuff,
yep,
an avatar,
yep.
and each of those avatars is going to have extra outfits. All I'm hearing is money, going to have to buy
Yep.
more shit, buy this
Equipment,
thing.
yep.
Well, and it's like
Yeah.
I've told both of you guys this, but it's like those fucking apartment places too, right? Where like he shows you this really grand place with a lake and it's super nice and mountains, and it's like,
Yep.
nah, motherfucker, there's gonna be a dingy ass fucking room like this.
Yep.
This room isn't dingy, but very small,
Right,
and you're
yep.
not gonna have a lot of room, and you're paying rent on that bitch, dude.
Yeah,
Yep.
like digital space. It's like there's going to be a separation of poverty and like social status in the digital space, I think, too.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
unless, because like if this was really for the people, why don't we just make it free?
Right.
Right? Why doesn't
Yep,
everybody get
facts.
to go do this thing? It now just becomes like a right that
Yep.
you have access to the metaverse and everything that's in the metaverse. But that's not how it's going to be.
Right.
You have to buy this Oculus. It's just fucking $1,000 alone. You have to buy a computer that's capable of running it to
Yep.
get you into the metaverse. You have to, and then once you're in there, fucking outfits, avatars, all this extra shit, just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Stops.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised. Chan and I were kind of talking about this. I wouldn't be surprised if pretty quick they came out with like their own type of cryptocurrency, like MetaCoin
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
or Bookcoin
totally.
or Facebook, something like that.
Yep.
Facecoin.
Yeah, because they're going to have something to like run through their system. And if it
Right.
is a true cryptocurrency, that means they, as Meta or Facebook, could actually control it. which I think is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like they could control like the inflation on it and like how much it's worth. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, depending
That's
on how they
scary.
set up their crypto.
That's scary. Are they making us call them Meta now, or is it still Facebook?
I think they said December 1st.
Yeah.
When they were going to change
Just to Meta, like it's not even
Meta.
going to be Facebook. It's just going to be Meta.
Yeah, I think Facebook might be its own thing, but I think like the Facebook company, like the official title of it will be Meta.
Meta.
Yeah, because he said like their ticker on the stock exchange is going to change to whatever the Meta letters and all that stuff. So their whole company is.
And they're working. They either have the company or they're working with a company called Horizon, where it's like Horizon Homes, Horizon Spaces, Horizon this,
That already exists.
and it's probably under Meta's umbrella as well. Like they
probably.
probably own the company.
Yep.
I think that business name is really hilarious. Horizon, as if they're trying to keep you horizontal on the horizon, and they don't want you vertical, ascending.
Yep.
They're trying to keep
They
your
want
ass
you- yep,
on one
flat.
level,
Well,
flat.
That's
I mean,
facts.
even Meta is like the most ironic name for this thing because if you're in a simulation, the most meta thing would for you to know you're in the Matrix.
Yep.
It's like this whole company called Meta is like super ironic because they're putting you in the Matrix. It's like they're showing you, hey, we're going to take over everything in your mind and have everything you own through the digital world, and you're dumb enough to actually let yourself
like
get
you're
shit
gonna
into
consent
that.
to it.
Hey,
yeah.
You guys know how you're scared you're in a simulation? I'm going to put you in a simulation.
Yep. So, you don't think it's good for someone to have like unlimited pleasure all the time?
No, because I think I mean, how many people say it now that's one of the problems with our society as it is now is instant gratification, right? So if there's even less of a barrier that you have to work for things, like if I could go put on my helmet and be like, yeah, now I'm super fit and I can do 100 pull-ups, yeah, I'm so buff. I don't want that anymore because I didn't have to work for it. Because part of the joy of being able to do, like if I could do 100 pull-ups would be like, I know fucking Chandler can't do that. Some amount of competitive nature, I think, has to exist. And if everyone gets everything all of the time, that doesn't really happen. And I also think that won't happen because if everyone gets everything all of the time, there's no longer a
value.
demand for these things. And their game is to make money. They're not actually trying to help people. They're trying to make money.
Yeah, it's all big money.
Because like if they were trying to help people, they wouldn't be worried about creating a second life for everybody. They'd be giving the people that are in poverty and with a terrible life a first life.
Exactly. I saw this video of this mousetrap where it was this box and it had a tube on top and there was a balloon filled with water with food on the top of the balloon, and it was like 100 of them all climb up on this box and like cram themselves in, and they all like suffocate and die, and then the water pops or the balloon pops and they all drown and shit. And I was just like, what the fuck, dude? Like that, how could that even happen? You know, like couldn't a mouse like look down there and see that like, oh, I'm gonna land on a bunch of mice and then there's a bunch of mice, you know? But then I saw the video of the Travis Scott shit like right after that, and I was just like, damn. There's kind of like some correlations of behaviors here. And there was one where it was this guy who created a utopia for mice. Like he had this like 2-story like building dedicated to mice. They had all the room you could ever want, all the space, all the food, plenty of women around for the males, plenty of men around for the females, plenty of males for the males if that's the way the males rolled.
Yeah, mice getting down.
But they created this utopia where the mice didn't have to strive for anything. They didn't have to go work for food. They didn't have to go work to try to find a mate. They didn't have to do any of that. None of nature's things were on it. And they started like eating themselves. They stopped eating. They stopped eating from the food. They stopped drinking. Huge chunks of them stopped mating. And they turned into like, they just like collapsed as a colony. And there's this idea that like humans need to have something to do, because if we just sit around and have the pleasures right in front of us, at some point someone will break something, so then something different will happen. Like, I've been sitting in this motherfucker in this simulation for 5 years, just having sex and getting the feeling of every drug in the whole world. You might just fucking, but you know exactly what's going to happen every single time that stuff happens, so you might just slam that shit on the ground out of frustration at some point just so a new experience will happen. And that's like, humans aren't made for a utopia where we just plateau and stop. We always have to be working towards something, or else we'll just fucking fall, you know?
Right.
That's pretty
It's there,
interesting.
man.
I happen to have a completely different viewpoint than both of you. I think that the way to ultimate success, ultimate freedom, and ultimate, riches is to really dive into pleasure head first. And you know how you do that?
How do you do that?
You get rid of all your inhibitions. You get rid of all your guilt. And you become a Freemason. Therefore, you become a Satanist. You become a sex cult. All right, the missionaries are back. We are going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Fehr the Burn. Everybody, the dogs are in here. We love you guys a lot.
Love you all.
This episode of Fehr the Burn. Everybody, the dogs are in here. We love you guys a lot.
Love you all.
So good.
Thank you so
Missionaries,
much.
please stop.
I felt her coming about 1,000,000 miles away. I felt the heat coming off her like the sun about midday. I grabbed a seat. She took my courage to stand. I sure as hell have got to get up out of here. I've got to run, I've got to get away, but I can't move for fear of the cost of losing all that is dear. But life goes on and these times get better. They said up ahead, you know it's better weather. Life goes on, well, so they say. It'll get better for me someday.